Welcome to the Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. For group exercise junkies and enthusiastic classgoers, we'll explore and uncover authentic, thought-provoking, and heartwarming industry education and inspiration from entertaining, badass fitness pros. And now your host, creator of Warrior Rhythm, Warrior Strength, Warrior Combat, Warrior Revolution, and Warrior Kids Group fitness brands, Ellen DeWord. Here we grow.
Hey everybody, today I am podcasting with Oscar and his mom. Thought you'd like that intro.
Yes, he's back.
This is Oscar, what is he, a Chiweenie?
Yes, he's a famous Chiweenie.
Well, he's famous, I guess. And yes, he's low-key famous. Sabrina's been on the show before, so we're excited to have her back. And today we're going to talk to you about how to do your own retreat. We're just going to talk about retreats, why you might want to attend them. What if you want to do one yourself? But if that's something that maybe doesn't, maybe you're like, no, I'm not interested in doing my own retreat. Maybe this episode isn't for me. No, don't go. It is for you because we've already decided the things that we're going to talk about today do relate to just the way you teach your classes. Do you want to explain that a little bit, Breen?
Yes, it's. I think it applies not even just fitness, like across industries, across anything. So much of what we do is just about connecting with people, building communities, finding your niche, finding where you fit in the space that you're in. So, yeah, I think a lot of the things that we're going to talk about relating to retreats relate completely to being a fitness instructor also.
Yay. Before we dive in, we know that her lighting is really bad.
Sorry.
And it's okay. And we know that this is a very weird place for me to podcast, but I've said it before. I've actually been on a podcasting frenzy. You're like my fourth interview this week. It's been really fun. But so you will have heard in other episodes that have released recently that my house is being remodeled. So I don't have a lot of places that I can go with decent lighting. My only lighting right now is a window and it's wet and rainy outside. And then I have to tell you that at any moment it is possible that the electrician is going to come back to do the under lighting in the cabinets in my kitchen. So it might be, hopefully it won't be noisy. If it gets, I don't know, if he has to because he also moved my hot water heater from inside my kitchen. Why is there a hot water heater in my kitchen? I mean, it was like in a closet, but still, it's out in the garage. So he did have to he was like drilling through the walls and the drywall today. So hopefully the drilling is done and you guys will be able to hear me for this episode. So, anywho, I'm in Oregon and Sabrina is in New York. So we're on opposite sides of the continent. And I became her best friend before we met because of the show. Do tell.
True story. And Spotify just wrapped again, and I am one of your number one listeners. This is my now favorite podcast. But yes, we met a little over a year ago. I was driving about 16 hours to a fitness convention that you were also presenting at. And right before the convention, I had heard an episode with another friend of ours who's also a top listener of the podcast, Siri Chalazi, who I adore. And her episode was so good, I thought I just need to listen to this whole podcast from the beginning. And so I had this crazy long car ride and I went and listened from the beginning to all the podcasts on like 1.5 speed. And then when I got to Nashville for the event, you were the first person that I saw. And speaking in real life, but actually at normal speed was so weird. And that
Did
was,
you think I sounded like I talked slow? You probably
yes,
probably wanted to speed me up.
that
Uh,
was the story of how we met.
it's so funny. I did you see that our show on Spotify is in the top 15% of video shows? Like, hello. Did you
It's
see
incredible.
that? You
Congratulations.
should have seen my face. I was just like for like 10 minutes with my mouth open and my eyes bulging. How can that be? I don't even know. But and then you okay, so my question is, are you the number one fan? Like, are you number one? Because Siri said Siri is the highest number or the lowest, I should say, that I saw. Because hers, remember, she I posted in my story that she was in the top 3% of all listeners.
Yes,
Are
I am
you
not.
actually number one?
I'm not
Who
actually number one.
is?
But do you want to know why? Because
Why?
Spotify only recently started showing the videos, but
Wow.
before that, I actually watched a lot of them on YouTube. So this year, when I'm not doing a marathon drive and listening for like 16 hours straight, I actually usually watched them on YouTube because I like to see the people that you're interviewing.
Okay.
So maybe Nicole's number one. I don't know.
Who is number one out there, people? It's so funny because then that was my creator unwrap. Like as a I have a Spotify creator app, which is different than the Spotify app. So the Spotify creator app did my unwrap and it blew my mind. And then I looked at my Spotify consumer app that the rest of the world has. And it's I actually listened to my show too, which is so funny because I like after I interview someone or after I do a solo episode and I kind of forget about the what we talked about or it just kind of gets cold in my memory a little bit. I do like to go listen back. It's similar to like watching yourself teach watching video of you teaching, it makes you better. Like I know it's nerdy, but I even sometimes watch my own story on Instagram just to be like, oh gosh, that was annoying, or oh, that was cute that I did that. Like I give myself feedback and critique. So I like to listen to my podcast back sometime, but I was in the top 24% of my own show listeners. I thought that was really funny.
That's awesome. Well, I was higher than
I
you,
know,
but
I was like, you beat
not number
me.
one.
So, that's so funny. Okay, so we're going to talk about retreat. So what does a retreat mean to you, or how would you define it? Let's start there.
So there are lots of different kinds of retreats. I think to me, a retreat is just getting away from whatever your daily life is. So whether it's a vacation, it does not have to be to another country. It could even be, well, we'll talk about this at the very end of this podcast, but it could even be that you're at home and doing a virtual retreat
Oh.
and joining people, on your computer. But I think it's just like a break from your regular life, a recharge, kind of a literal retreat away. And then when you come back, you are refreshed and kind of appreciate things in a new way and can look at things in a new way.
It's funny that you say that because obviously I just got back from hosting my very own first ever retreat in Mexico, and I'm sure you like had to get off of the internet during that week so that your FOMO didn't destroy you.
Always
But,
all the stories.
but it's funny. When I got to lead rhythm, of course, like, and I planned it in such a way, and I do this with the con too. I planned it in such a way that I was going to be showcasing choreography that they hadn't seen before. In this case, it's lesson 25 because we haven't even filmed it. The instructors don't have it. And so I knew it would be extremely special for the Warrior Rhythm lovers to be in Cancun, overlooking the ocean in 80-degree weather doing new beautiful choreography. Oh, it gives me chills. And so of Warrior Rhythm has a theme, as you know, but not all the listeners might not know that, but it starts with a theme. And the instructor does have some discretion over what that theme is. So in other words, they have the freedom to make whatever theme they want for that lesson if they want. So I was thinking long and hard about it. What would be the perfect theme for this extraordinarily, monumentally special, epic class? And I chose the theme perspective because of what you just said. And then I told them that anytime I get away, and really, I want to say every time I'm on an airplane, I suddenly have a different vantage point or view or perspective of my life. It's like a bird's eye instead of, you know that adage, you can't see the forest for the trees. Like day to day to day to day, we're in the trees and you see tree trunks and bark and tree trunks and bark, but you and mushrooms and ground squirrels, but you don't see the forest. And there's something about getting away that helps you see the forest of your life. And sometimes that allows you to realize there's decisions you need to make, or course corrections, or changes, or maybe you're just overwhelmingly grateful for it. So I chose a theme of perspective. And then Nicole, so at the very last day of the retreat, I let some of our warrior leaders who were there each lead 2 or 3 songs of like a mashup class of our different formats. And I let Nicole, for the listeners, Nicole Printon, who does our nutrition bite, I had her open. And I felt like that was that's like boardwalk in Monopoly, like opening the class, that was like giving her just a very special spot in the lineup because that person really sets the tone. And she chose the theme of, by the way, the control freak in me wanted to tell her what the theme should be, but I was like, Ellen, don't do it. Don't do it. Just let her be. Let her pick it. I'm so glad I did. So she chose balance, and she talked about having balance in your life and how like how she was preaching to the choir, because this was a group of people that are demonstrating balance by investing in taking time out for a retreat. Okay. Sorry, I'm talking so much on your episode.
No, it's great. But what's kind of interesting, I mean, we'll probably get to this later, but talking about, balance and perspective and everything, and how I think for a lot of people they think of retreats as similar to a vacation, but like you want to come back and be ready to go back to work and feel rested and different. As the retreat leader, I will say I usually need 3 days to recover from retreats. So like, I mean, when you're putting it on and you are on and like working harder than ever to provide this amazing experience, I think we want to give everybody there this experience, but kind of the same as if you're a fitness instructor teaching a class, like you're giving your class the experience. It's not your workout. So say like when you're running a retreat, you're thinking of what experience am I giving to everybody here? You're not relaxing on the beach. You are thinking of like, what's the next class? What lesson are we doing? Is dinner set? Is the reservation ready? Like all of those things. You are on times 1,000, but you're making it look like it's this finished production. Not always. I mean, there's bloopers all the time, but you're presenting this like your polished class that you spent your hours practicing for. Now you're on. It's kind of what it feels like, I think, to run a retreat.
Same, just again, this is we're at the tail end of 2025, and 2025 was my first venture into doing my own things. And I felt exactly what you felt, exactly what you just described, and I did take time after. So for me, of the 2 events, the con took every piece of every cell in my body, every brain cell, every neuron, every synapse, every hair follicle, like every part of me. It was so much energy output. It was just such a massive operation to be the kind of sole. I mean, I had help. I had wonderful help at the welcome desk, and I had people that helped me set up the space. But really, I was quarterbacking every detail, and there were millions of them all day. So sorry, conference, same thing, same thing. When that was over, I went to the Oregon coast with Diva. We went to this town called Depot Bay and ate a bunch of seafood, and just like we're just like like, just like brain dead. And then and I tried to work as little as possible for those 3 days, 2 or 3 days, and eat as much food as possible and just rest. But then after, so the waves in Mexico was less taxing, but I did feel on, and it did feel like work. I wasn't able to just go enjoy but it definitely was far less stressful. And we'll get to this. I learned something from you which we'll get to. I can't be here now. I learned something that I wanted to adopt and apply. I learned something from the way you led your retreat that I wanted to apply to Mexico that actually helped me sort of have a little bit more chill. But after that retreat was over, we stayed like 2 extra days just to actually like literally enjoy and do nothing there. So, okay. So let's get into maybe like I don't care what order you take this in, but like how, why, where, when did you start to do retreats? You can do the how, where, why, when, where in any order.
Yeah, so I actually, what you just said about taking something from my retreat that you had just
Yeah.
attended and then you were doing your own, that's kind of how it got started. I first started doing retreats actually before the whole retreat industry blew up. So there really weren't that many retreats happening. But I was living in New York City at the time, working a crazy corporate job and seeing all these things about kind of these like luxury retreats that people were doing. And for me, that wasn't exactly the kind of retreat that I wanted. Like, I thought it looked nice, but I could go to a spa for a day, anywhere. If I was going to do a retreat, I wanted to maybe like go on some sort of outdoorsy hiking thing. So I kind of was looking at what's even available. Um, and did end up running some retreats for several years. But then when I actually created Camp Be Here Now, which is the current retreats that I run in the Poconos, Pennsylvania, I had done a bunch of retreats. I personally attended probably 2 to 3 retreats a year for several years. And so I had like all these ideas and I knew all the things that I wanted. I knew the things that I liked. And then I found this perfect venue
Yeah.
and started running these retreats. And it's kind of like what you were saying for ConCon and even Waves, I'm sure will be the same thing as you continue to do it. The first time it took everything. It was like, oh, what am I going to do for the schedule and the food? And what am I going to charge? How am I going to price this? Like all the things that you have to think about. And then once you've done it, you learn from it each time. And the next time it's easier and easier and
Well,
easier.
just like teaching your first class. It's like a big bundle of nerves and you want to
Yes,
vomit and you're like, it takes every brain cell, but then once you've been doing it, rinse, wash, repeat, it gets easy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Wait, so I have a question. So were you always outdoor? I mean, I should know this as, your best friend. We
They
were
pretty
best
much
friends
were.
before we met, don't forget. So are you outdoorsy? Are you like a hikey kind of a canoey, like kayaki kind of a girl? And that's why you're drawn to it, or were you drawn to it because that's not how you are?
I think I've always loved being active.
Mhm.
Um, Not necessarily outdoorsy versus indoorsy, but just active, like
Yeah.
activity. I wanted maybe a fitness retreat. I also had some friends in the city who were doing fitness retreats specifically,
Mhm.
where, it was like these boutiques and little studios, and they were obsessed with just their one, cult class instructor type of thing. And they would do like a weekend in the Hamptons or something like
Oh
that. And
yeah.
so kind of those kinds of ideas are what drew me to, if I really wanted to go away for a weekend, what kinds of things would I want to do? And personally, I'd rather do a couple of workouts, maybe go kayaking, go on a hike, than like have a 5 hour massage and then like mani pedi. And I love those things, but if I'm going to go on a retreat, I want to kind of be like connecting with people and doing stuff as opposed to being pampered.
Yeah.
So kind of same with like fitness classes where there's all different kinds of classes. Like you might be a yogi, you might like Pilates, you might like a strength class. There's all different kinds of retreats. And so you kind of have to look at what's out there and say like, who are the kind of people that are going to be on this retreat? Are they the people that I want to hang out with every day? Like, oh, there's my people. And you find your tribe.
I also was going to tie it to teaching classes. Whew, cat hair is flying on my face. I was going to tie it in a different way to teaching classes too. Like, I think when you teach a format, it should either be a format that you are so ridiculously passionate about, as opposed to like, what format should I teach? What format do I think people want me to teach? I think it should be like, what format actually lights my soul on fire, because it's your own passion when you're teaching that draws people to you. And if it's not a format, like a branded format, and it's something you're creating, like let's say you're a cycle instructor or whatever, a yoga instructor, and you are pulling your own music into that class, I think it, rather than be like, I want to make sure what kind of playlist would everybody want me to do? Who knows who's going to be in your room? Just attract your own people by finding the songs and playlists that light you on fire, because it is your passion that draws people to you. So in the same way, if you're interested in leading a retreat, rather than viewing it as like, huh, what kind of retreat would people want to do out there? Just what do you want to do? What kind of retreat would you be crazy about?
Yes,
Would you find so fun? And like you said, what kind of people? And or if you're attending a retreat similarly. Yeah.
exactly.
So how did it, okay, so and then did it evolve very much since you started it in, you said 2021?
Yes,
2021?
it's evolved so much. I learn so much every year. I see what works, I see what doesn't. There's always things that don't work, and that's great because you learn from them.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so it's kind of, but it's like you said, it's evolved into the right people are always showing up. What do I want to do? That's attracting the type of people that are going to want to do those things. And so, as I've picked up new certifications, I've added those classes to the retreat. We never did Warrior before, and this year I
Good.
took Warrior classes. We had Warrior at the retreat. So, yeah, it evolves with me and it evolves with the people who I've had people who have been coming since the first year that I've done retreats, and they keep coming back. And I think if it was the same every year, they wouldn't, but it's always
Oh,
evolving.
right. I agree. I think if it was a cookie cutter experience, they probably would be less inclined.
Yeah.
That's cool. I was gonna, okay, so why? So did you answer the question why? Did you say why? Is it because you were looking for something? Like, I
Why
just,
did it start in the first place?
yeah, why did you do it in the first place?
Um, so I mean, I think you maybe remember from the last time I was on this podcast, but I was working crazy corporate jobs in New York, literally working
20 hours,
24/7
a law firm.
in fluorescent lighting, which it looks like I'm in fluorescent lighting right now, but I'm actually not. I'm like inside in beautiful
So
lighting. But
it doesn't look like you're in any lighting. It looks like you're in the dark a little bit. It's
it's
just
getting dark out here.
like,
Um, but yeah, it started because I wanted this kind of like wellness community that I
oh,
didn't have in the corporate.
okay. Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. Got it.
But
Okay.
then it completely grew from there.
Okay.
And when you go on a retreat, it depends on the retreat experience, but even you came to Can't Be Here Now, you weren't even at the whole session. You were there for like a couple of days.
Mm,
And did you almost feel like family with everyone there? Like within 24 hours,
yeah.
you know so much about each other. You're like, it really feel, and actually part of the reason I call my retreats now Camp Be Here Now is it really feels like adult sleepaway camp, and you kind of like don't get those experiences that often as an adult, and those chances to make new besties and
Yeah.
like really just be free and be a feel like a kid and do all these fun things. So
Okay,
I
wait. So wait, hold on. I want to talk about that a little bit more. But before, I just think it's interesting that what you didn't say about why you never brought up is you never mentioned, and I don't know if you were going to, but you never said, and maybe it isn't why, but you never mentioned money.
yeah, money's not why I
Yeah,
do them. um,
same. I feel
and
the
it's
same way. I mean, I care about money and I want to be a successful businesswoman and I want the company to do well, but my why is really about giving back, pouring in, continuing to develop culture and community. So I thought that was interesting that you didn't say, you know,
yeah, it's I actually the money didn't cross my mind in that
Got
whole
that.
part of the
I didn't
conversation
think it did.
until you brought it up. But what is interesting, so there is a lot of possibility to make money on retreats. And again, it depends if you do like kind of the luxury route versus middle of the road versus like, super rustic or whatever kind of you're looking for with
Mhm.
that. Um, but the last time I was on this podcast, it was actually last year that this happened. Six separate women told me over the course of last year, 2024, that I saved their life. And though it was all of those were connected in some way to Can't Be Here Now. Some of them took my fitness classes, but they also all were part of this. I don't even call it a retreat community. It's like a sisterhood. It really is. And they spend 5 days together. That's it. And then we're across the country. We have Facebook, messenger groups and text messages. The group from session 1 this year
Mm.
has been texting all day. My phone is like blasting. So it really is about the people.
Yeah. So talk about that being about the people and how you create meaningful experiences. And at some point, I can either do it now or I can wait till you're done with this question. I want to talk about my experience or my perspective being a participant in your retreat.
I would love to hear your experience.
First, first or second? First or second?
What do we? I don't know. I guess I'll talk a little bit, and then I want to hear your perspective, and maybe I can add
Okay.
based on your perspective. But I think, and I think you're this way too. I think authenticity and vulnerability are kind of two of the most important things and things that really can connect people, and it has to be real. So one of the most important things for me is actually bringing the right people together at each session, because you could have a bunch of people who are completely authentic and vulnerable, but if they are, not, if they're not the kind of people who would naturally maybe connect with each other or be friends with each other, I kind of look at who is coming to the retreats, and I pick and I help like direct who's coming to which session. So I usually have slightly different themes. Like one is usually a little bit more of a healing retreat, and one is a little bit more fun activity, like party vibe. One is a little bit maybe more athletic, fitnessy vibe. Um, Different. I kind of know a little bit about people's backgrounds and things, but to get that vulnerability, usually on the first night, we do. There's various question games that I do, but one is from the New York Times. I think it was like in the 80s, the 26 questions to fall in love with someone. And it's not a romantic love. It doesn't have to be romantic. It's truly just these questions get at who are you as a person, like what matters to you, what's important. And we do these questions, and literally within hours, we know more about each other than some people's best friends, family, like things that no one else in the world knows.
Huh.
And we have gotten that out of each other in 2 hours of sitting together in the living room.
Yeah.
And that usually kicks it off. And then I think I make a really good schedule. I'm just going to like pat myself on the shoulder right here, but it took years to kind of really get a perfect balance of not overwhelming. I don't want it to feel like you're so exhausted by the end that you need a break. So how do you mix in breaks and alone time with, all the classes that I want to do and all the hikes and the experiences and things. But it's this like it's kind of a delicate balance of fun activities, um, private time to reflect, and kind of how it all comes together.
Yeah. Ah. So I went to Can't Be Here Now this last, I think September, which was
Yeah.
not long ago. And I had never been to the Poconos, first of all. And we did come like a day late or something. Um, I loved it. It was it wasn't, I don't think I had expectations. So it wasn't, I didn't, it was so interesting to me Well, first of all, I was like trying to find out about it before I went and before I agreed to go and stuff, and I like couldn't really see much. And Sabrina was like, "Well, I'm kind of private about it because I don't just let anyone come. I'm pretty selective. I kind of vet the applicants to see, who would be a good fit. So she's really protective of the space and the energy that way. Um, so anyway, I knew that. I knew she was going to ask me to ice plunge, which I was like not going to do because I hate being cold. I'm always cold and I hate it more than anything. I hate being cold. I'm always freezing. I hate being cold. I hate being cold. I hate being cold. So the last thing, like getting in an ice plunge sounds like murder to me. So I wasn't really gonna do that, but I knew that she was gonna try to make me. And then okay, so we got there and it's like so rustic, cabiny, like big A-frame style, just beautiful, huge little walking trail down to the river. And so there was I hope that I'm not saying something that you wanted to talk about later, but in terms of activities, like it was a wide variety of everything from breakfast where we like pick a card that is like our spirit animal or something, I can't remember. And or like cards, motivational or inspirational cards or cards to help us have gratitude that we would share around the breakfast table. And then we could hike, we could do fitness. So I experienced for the first time in no, Qigong was the first time I've ever done Qigong. I had done Tai Chi before, but never with you and never outdoors and never in that setting. I went to the more fitnessy version of her retreat, but it was still like woo-woo-y and intimate and um beautiful with the women there. And there was a chance to ice plunge every day, which I did do, and I did like the experience. I am glad I did it. I went home and I bought an ice plunge for my son, the one that just got his black belt last week in jujitsu. I knew he would be way into that. So I did the ice plunge. I almost started to cry because it was just so, I don't know what it was. It was just so I don't know if I was proud of myself or if it was something physiological happening in my body that was causing me to my heart to crack open. But I was about to cry. I was like, "Don't do it, don't do it." And then I got my countdown. She had us go in for 2 minutes. And then there was like campfire. It really just felt like being a 10-year-old girl at camp. Oh, there was art lessons, and I'm an artist, so I loved that. We got to paint on canvases. It was just, it was really fun. And the thing that I took away that because at that point I knew I was doing waves, and I really liked how you provided a framework for flexibility with the schedule. Like if you didn't want to be up at 8 a.m. for breakfast, you didn't have to be. And if you didn't want to, cold plunge and you wanted to have time in your room for private reflection, you could. So I missed kayaking and that was a bummer, but yeah.
Yeah, I always make everything on the schedule optional. And I also I mean, it's different. Like a convention is obviously different than
Oh,
a smaller retreat, but I love that there's only one thing happening at once.
mhm.
So everybody, it kind of goes from activity to activity together. If you don't want to do it, you can skip anything you want, but it's not like you're missing something. You can always everybody, if you want to, can do every activity, and we kind of like stick together as a family the
Mhm.
whole time. But also, I love that you said that you came in with no expectations. Honestly, you really can't go into a retreat with expectations. Like I go into every single one with no expectations because it's never going to go the way you expect. Like things happen at every event, every retreat, and you kind of just have to roll with it and go with the flow. So I think
It is
over
It is different than a conference. Like at the conference, I was like, butts in seats at, you have 10 minutes, put your chair away, da da da, go to the bathroom and blah, don't be late. But then at Waves, I was like, we're going to try to start here for the workout. And then if you want, you can go to the pool. If you want, you can go do some training with me. So yeah, different vibe with that. And also, if you're listening and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not detail, I would love to lead a retreat, but I'm not this detail oriented, or I don't know how to put together a schedule or something like that. You can also facilitate or be a retreat leader and have and work with an organization or a company or someone that gets paid. They're a line item in the budget and they get paid and they help with whatever. So like, I mean, I did do the whole entire, I plan all the schedule and everything related to my retreat, but I did work with Fit Bodies for my retreat in Cancun. And they gave us, because of that, because of the relationship that they have with the resort, we got discounted pricing. They coordinated the people's flights with the shuttle, the transfer from the airport to the resort. They coordinated all of that for me. They were just there to kind of handle everything. We got a WhatsApp chat with the resort and Fit Bodies and my staff. So you can have help. And prior to, and especially since doing that retreat, I've had so many companies reach out to me wanting my business, wanting to help me do the next one. So there's definitely, you don't have to spearhead the whole thing by yourself. So
Yes. And one thing to just keep in mind if you're thinking of doing a retreat, um, it matters if you have, as far as like activities and schedule and things like that, if you're at a place like Fit Bodies doing it in Breath the Soul Cancun, you might have rooms reserved at certain times or meals at certain times, things like that.
right.
I I rent my entire space that
Mhm.
I run my retreats out of, and so I have entire days that I could swap around. Like if it rains outside, I literally have one schedule for if it rains on Tuesday and one schedule for if it's sunny every day. And I can swap, I have just much more flexibility and control with this space because I'm not having to have certain ballrooms booked or, things like that. So just,
Yeah.
there are always logistical things to think
Yeah.
about like that. But if you're somebody that wants to run a retreat and you're just getting started, I'm more than happy to answer logistical questions like that as well.
Okay. So, okay, let's keep it moving because I have to wrap someone up as a present tonight, which in my class, which I'll talk about later when we end, maybe. Don't let me forget. Okay, so what have been some big challenges you've encountered hosting retreats?
Um, at the beginning, filling them was, well, actually, no, filling them was never really hard. Maybe the first one. But then after that, pretty much everybody returned and I slowly built. So I would say, you're invited and think of one friend that you might know
Okay.
who is interested in coming. So that's kind of how I built them. But finding a venue is a challenge.
Mhm.
I am so lucky to have the space that I use. I love it. If you find a venue that you love, um, that's kind of ideal.
Yeah, your venue has like a ping pong table and a foosball table and like 8 bedrooms and 2 stories and
The
right?
biggest thing that it has is a bathroom and shower in every
Yeah.
bedroom. So
And it has the canoes
yes,
and they store your trampolines there.
yes. But finding enough bathrooms, I think, is one of the hardest things.
Totally.
And I have actually a couple of friends who I've facilitated some sessions at their retreats, and they're even kind of, I would say, more luxury than mine, but they rent houses through Airbnb. And it's these like gorgeous luxury houses. They're crazy expensive, and they don't have, it might be 4 bathrooms in the house. And that, for me, that's not enough. Like, I needed a place where every bedroom had its own
Mhm.
private bathroom and shower. So that was very important for
Yeah.
me. The other challenge I think is just getting the right, it always works out in the end, but getting the right groups of people together and working it with everyone's schedule because these days everyone's crazy busy. Like even finding the session that you were able to attend
Mhm.
was kind of tough last year because you have filming every,
Exactly.
second weekend of the month and there's all these things. And a lot of the people who wanted to come to my retreats, it's a weekend in the summer, it's or fall. It's like these are the times where people are busiest. So finding the right weekends and dates to do my retreats is tough and kind of managing the registration so that the right people are grouped together.
Is there anything you wish you would have known before you started besides that?
Um, I think the screening, so like I said, it always works out perfectly in the end.
Mhm.
Um, I only ever had one person come to a retreat where that really didn't work out. And I I don't wish I knew it before because I needed that learning experience. But
Mhm.
looking back, that was kind of one of the biggest learning experiences for me. Up until that point, I had never had any issue. So I really kind of thought whoever wants to register, we're going to be okay because
Mhm.
they're paying and signing up and coming to this retreat. And I had one where it really changed the whole energy of the retreat and took so much of my energy, and it was just um such a change to everyone's experience that I now that's why I do these like
Yeah.
interviews, and I'm really so careful
Big
about
fingerprints.
I know. I'm like, who do I
You do
want
a
to
back you do a background check.
basically, yes, because I want to make sure that it could affect everyone's experience. It's not just about the one person. So I'm super careful about that. And I guess the other thing, it's not something I wish I learned. I actually learned it previously, but it very much informs how I run my retreats. Is I had a couple of very bad experiences
Mhm.
at retreats where I felt just like so not included and felt in like ways that I've never experienced feeling so bad before. And so when I was creating my retreats, I thought I want I don't ever want to make someone feel that way. So it really informed like how I set the schedule and how I do the room assignments and how I do meals, just like all these things. I always had that in the back of my mind was like, I felt this way. I don't want to create that. So what can I do to to do something different? Like I think you learn that whenever you go on a retreat or attend something. You probably even learn that from all the fitness conferences before creating ConCon. Like what do I want to do, but
Yes.
also what don't I want to do or what do I want to do differently is I think some of the most important things you can learn. So,
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes. I mean, I went to so many conferences and that's exactly, there were things that I loved that I wanted to replicate, and there were things that I thought could be better,
yeah.
that I wanted to do my way or do differently. And then I really only went, I only went to one conference after knowing I was gonna, or after knowing I was gonna do the con, I only went to one, and I knew, and it wasn't a fitness conference. It was
Oh,
a,
I remember it was the
yeah, exactly. But I still was like, I had my notepad app out on my phone the whole time because I had different lenses like, oh, the logo's on the podium on like a piece of foam core board. Write it in my phone. Like, oh, I just really like sucked in all the little details. But anyway,
yes.
okay. So, what's your favorite thing about retreat?
About retreats, it's the magic. Like every single session, I can point to a magic moment, and
Mhm.
I can't even describe them, really accurately. But moments like actually in the ice bath when you almost
Yeah.
cried, like So ice plunging in particular does have physiological effects, and it's part of the reason that have included them for the last 5 years in the retreats. But it's not just physical stuff. Like there are just these magic moments that happen in every retreat, and I can't plan them. And usually they don't even happen, during a workout or during a session. They happen like in some random conversation. But it's those moments that just like last forever, and it's my favorite.
Mhm.
It's the moments of connection.
What advice would you have for fitness professionals thinking about hosting their own retreat?
I think the biggest thing is to really be true to yourself. Like it kind of comes back to the very beginning of the conversation, but you can't go into the retreat space thinking, oh, I'm just going to make a lot of money here. So like what country do people want to go to? Or like
Yeah.
what type of retreat does it seem like people are looking for?
Mm.
You're going to work so crazy hard, and you're not going to make money, and you're not even going to be happy doing it. So I think when you are true to yourself and you think, if I was going to go on a retreat, what is the exact experience that I would really, really want, and create that, the right people who are going to want that experience are going to show up. Maybe you start small. Maybe the first year you don't even charge people, or just bring a couple of your best friends who are going to love it, and just build it out. But I love what I did at the beginning, which was I started with a group. I knew every single person who came to the first year. And then the second year, I only invited them and 1 degree of friendship from them. So, like, it was you're invited back. And I actually learned that from a retreat that I attended as a participant. It was the only way to go was basically to be invited, either by a friend or by the person running the retreats.
Funny that you said, oh, sorry, were you still
Oh, no,
talking?
go ahead. No, you're good.
I was just going to say it's funny that you said that because I didn't do that, but it worked out that way for waves. And it was like so magical and intimate and perfect. So I opened it up to anyone. Anyone. Anyone could come. They didn't have to be an instructor. They didn't even have to like have ever done a warrior class. And my expectations of people were that they would do the warrior workout in the morning and then share a meal with the team at night. Those were the two, like, that's what I wanted them to do. But then they had choices throughout. But it ended up that I knew everyone who went, or I knew the person, I knew someone who brought them. Yeah.
Well, and it makes complete sense because what you created was the exact retreat that you would want, like a warrior
But
specific,
it was.
we're doing the warrior
It
workout.
happened to be all women, and I really did enjoy that. So I don't know. It's something I'm definitely doing it next year, and I've thought about maybe specifying. There's just, I don't know. I don't know. That's something to think about. But
Yeah, that is one thing. Mine are only women, specifically only women. But I think mine maybe get a little bit more spiritual than yours, and like a little bit more like
Louis.
people are sharing just a little bit more personal stuff. And I don't think they would feel comfortable sharing those things if there was a male energy
Yeah.
there.
Except for
Um,
Oscar and Fig,
yes,
their male energy is
Oscar rules the
welcome.
house.
Okay, so I want to talk about the why I'm going to wrap someone up tonight at some point, but I also want to hear about your online retreat and
Yes.
then your confession. So,
Okay.
how
So really,
about, yeah, tell us about Ring in the New Year, then I'll talk about wrapping someone up, and then you can confess.
okay, awesome. So Ring in the New Year virtual retreat. I think I said this actually last year on the podcast too, but it originally started because I had a couple of people specifically ask for an in-person retreat over the holidays. And I always try to give people what they want. So I was trying to do an in-person retreat. It was a couple people who had become very close from previous retreats, and they holidays can be tough for some people. If you don't have family, or if the family that used to be the holidays for you isn't there, or, you know, just all kinds of reasons that holidays time can actually be tough. Um, but it's also very tough to run a retreat over the holidays, especially for me. I am single, but I have family, and I have some holiday things like parties and stuff around the holidays that I am supposed to be at. My nephew's birthday is December 29th. We usually do a little party for him and my sister, and my whole family comes to town. So I didn't really want to be away also for that whole week. And like New Year's, you know, but I thought for that 1 year, okay, I'm going to try it. This was a few years ago. I thought I'll try to book it. And so I booked my space. I was looking into the space that I love and that I know very well. And it was crazy expensive over Christmas and New Year's, like probably two of the most expensive weeks. It's also very expensive for people to get there. Like travel right around Christmas and New Year's is the most expensive. Um, so and it didn't end up selling out because those couple of people that had asked for it wanted to do it, but then everyone else, even some of my best friends who really wanted to do it, they were like, but I have something on Christmas Eve, or like I have something on one day, I can't do it. So I created the virtual retreat, because everybody can do it then. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can be literally anywhere. It costs, you know, next to nothing because you don't have to pay for flights, you don't have to pay for the space. It's like a couple dollars, to get it. It comes out to like less than $1 a class or something. If you have a couple of things going on during those 2 weeks, but you're free the rest of the time, you can kind of pop in and out. You don't have to be there 24/7, but it's this space for connection. Let's see, and like you can be in your pajamas, you can be sitting on your couch, you can be like at home and kind of doing whatever parts of it you want, but it still has the effect of creating this true, real connection over the holidays for so many people. And I love doing virtual because you can record and keep it up for the whole 2 weeks. So, but basically what it ended up turning into, and it's grown so much in these last 3 years. The last 2 years we had over 120 people each year do it. And I've started bringing in more and more of my favorite friends and guest instructors and facilitators to teach. So now it's almost this community of all the people who come in person to Can't Be Here Now. So like if you want to meet them, you get to meet them. It's their little reunion because they get to see each other on Zoom. They get to take amazing classes. There's recordings for the whole 2 weeks, and it's just this like awesome connection and way to ring in the new year and start. We do some really interesting mindset sessions of reviewing our year and looking at where we want to go next year and all the things we want to do and like vision boarding and all kinds of stuff. And it's just that for me, it's the best start to the new year.
So you are invited, less listeners. So we can put that in the show notes, the link, right? Because that's
Yes,
not super hidden. That's not going to be super hidden. You don't need to do a background check.
No, this is a huge deal. So I mean, you're invited for free. It's $197 for everybody else. Wait, did I not? Oh no, did I say
know that? I didn't know you were going to do that.
I didn't either. Whoops, I just said that.
So,
all right, well, I said it. I guess I have to. So if you listen, you have to listen to the end of the podcast.
Well, we should have said that in the beginning.
No, they have to listen to the end of the podcast to know.
No, I know because we didn't say it in the beginning. So
Yeah.
no, it's kind of like that hidden. I worked when I was with Beachbody, Barb Brodowski. She used to do these like headquarter happenings and say something like random at the end and test us.
Yeah. All right, so that's the big news at the end of this is
do they need a code or do they just reach out to you? How do they do it?
Reach out to me. So we will put the link to the Facebook group. It's a private group on Facebook. And then all of the classes happen on Zoom. So even I know Ellen's had a lot going on with
I
Facebook.
I will
If
not be in the Facebook group, people, as you know.
Yes. If you can't be in the Facebook group, that's no problem. I will say there's a lot of great conversation and connection that happens in the Facebook group, but all of the classes happen on Zoom. There's recordings of all the classes. So actually, just either try to join the Facebook group or send me a message either on Instagram or Facebook. I'm Sabrina YTT on Facebook or Joyful Metamorphosis with the little underscore. It's the blue butterfly on Instagram, but just send me a message. Say, I heard about the Ring in the New Year Ritny, the RITNY virtual retreat on Ellen's podcast, and I'm interested in coming. And I'll just either send you the email that has all the links or I'll let you into the group.
Hey.
Um,
Okay, we got to wrap this up because I've got to wrap someone up and I got to go soon to the dollar store. Okay, because one of my front row divas, FRDs, it's her birthday tonight and she's coming to my class. And oh my gosh, this is a new class. It's Warrior Strength. It's brand new. It's been on the schedule for 3 weeks. And let me look at the app right now. It is, hold on, refresh. Hang on. I mean, there's 35 people coming. It's brand new.
that's
And it's a
amazing.
it's like a Friday night. Like it's so amazing. So anyway, she's coming on her birthday to my Warrior Strength class. And so then there's this other girl who is a former front row diva, but didn't change gyms, when I kind of like added the Y. So she would have to like be a drop-in guest in order to come. So we don't get to see her as much anymore. And so I'm gonna get there early and wrap her in birthday wrapping paper in the like equipment closet in the back of the studio and put like a bow on her head. And I'll have to wrap her loosely so her feet can walk underneath like doot 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 doot. And then so right before we start class, I'm gonna tell Anita that I have a present for her. And then I'll open the equipment and then Amy will do walk out and then she's gonna open it and Anita will open the present. We'll open it and then there will be a card and it's gonna say that your present is my presence. So it's just that's my great
So
idea.
cute. I
It's
love it.
so cute. And then that's it. So I need to hurry because I've got to get to the dollar store to get all that stuff before I go. Okay, but you're not leaving without your confession, your due, cough it up. What is it? Is it retreat
Okay,
or is it?
so my confession, actually, I've thought about a few different ones, but I changed it when
Okay.
you asked about money earlier. My confession is that actually at the September retreat that you attended,
Mhm.
I lost several $1,000s on that retreat, actually, like over $7,000 on that retreat. So not only did I not make money and not even break even, I lost about $7,000. Um, there have been a couple of retreats in the past where I've lost money. I usually break even, make a little bit. Like I definitely don't charge what I could
Yeah.
if I wanted to make more money on them. But I think that's an important confession because I think a lot of people maybe don't really think about how expensive it is to run an event or run a retreat. And I I think it's successful when someone tells me I saved their life or, everybody has a great time. But like, really? Is it successful if I lost $7,000? I don't know. So, and that's not something that's sustainable. So I think it's an important confession because
Yes.
I'm like years into doing this. I have tons of experience. All the sessions were sold out this year. And because of partly how I do my cancellation policy, and I agreed to refund money and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I lost a lot of money on that one. So
Yeah, that's a great, I actually knew that. I mean, you shared that with me, so I knew that story because I was there. But I do think that's very valuable that you shared that and is a risk you take. And I I had a no refund policy, so which was really good because there were two people that wanted to back out for two very different reasons. And there's a no refund policy, so they didn't. And they were so glad that they went. They were so glad. But had I had a refund policy, A, that would have hurt our bottom line. And B, they would have missed out on an experience that they really valued. So that is really good that you shared that. And I wanted to say one more thing about maybe another fringe benefit of working with, if you are as new to it as me, hosting retreats. So Sabrina's been doing this for a long time. Her Can't Be Her Now started in 2021, but before that, she was helping it with another retreat. So for me, I was brand new. So for me, working with another person that does retreats was helpful. They actually handled all the money and that no refund policy. And I already said the shuttles and the transfers and the pricing with the resort hotel to bring it down to a group rate that was a little bit of a benefit. But they also advised me, because you touched on this, that's why I thought about it, the time of year. You talked about the holidays being, they told me like the sweet spot to go would be the first or second, the last weekend in October or the first and second weekend in November. They said it would be the ideal price point. It would be lower pricing before it gets crazy around the holidays, but it's right after hurricane season. And so there's like a really tight 3 weeks rather, that is the sweet spot. And I wouldn't have known that. I could have planned it smack dab in hurricane season, or I could have planned it over the most expensive time of year. So anyway, food for thought. There's people that do this professionally that can still help you lead your retreat, or you can be more entrepreneurial like Sabrina and just figure it all out. So it's awesome.
But if you want to experience it, join the virtual retreat for free, meet some people, try some classes, and then maybe you will want to come to Can't Be Here Now. And I always announce the dates for the next year on the last day of the virtual retreat, and I only announce it to those people first and last year's attendees so that they get first dibs. So if you think Can't Be Here Now sounds fun, join the virtual retreat so you can hear about it.
Yes, that's so awesome. Okay, well, thank you for coming.
Also,
Yeah.
we'll get to take your classes. Ellen is
Oh, yeah.
teaching in the virtual retreat, and we have a bunch of warrior classes. We have a couple of other warrior instructors, which is super exciting. And
Oh, we're also doing a big warrior mashup on New Year's Day where you're going to get a little of everything. A little of this, little of that, little of this, little of that.
yes, and many other previous guests from this podcast are also going to be presenting, and so come and see all the fabulous people.
Sabrina has a pretty eclectic taste in exercise. So my guess is you're going to get a little bit of everything. I saw that, what's her face? Cutie Pie. Dance Your Sass Off.
Oh, yes, Sarah's doing it.
Sarah. Oh, I want to have her on the show. She's so freaking cute. Sarah.
Love it. She'd be great.
I need to have her on the show. She's so cute. So yeah, it's like you'll have a lot of variety, and it'll open your mind up to other modalities of fitness and things. Are you doing any foam rolling?
I am.
Yeah,
I'm doing foam rolling. There's fitness. There's yoga. There's a couple of different branded formats. There's mandala coloring and sound baths and a movie night. And
stop it.
So much fun.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Okay, well, yes, I will be there. I just won't be in the Facebook group. Well, hopefully I will be, but don't plan on it. And thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Share this with your fitness communities, and Sabrina and Oscar. Oscar, thank you for bringing your mom back on the show. Hello. He just hangs out under her butt the whole time. All right, I got to go get some wrapping paper so I can wrap my present for class tonight. Bye, everybody.
Love you. Happy holidays.
Thank you for joining in on the Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. If you're interested in becoming a warrior instructor, go to warriorinstructors.com. But if you want more and found this episode amazing, please give us a rating. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode. So remember, be brave, be bold, be blessed. And above all, listen, learn, love.